Chapter 5 today. Chapter 5 is perimeter and area. Much of what we'll do today you guys are already pretty familiar with, but we are going to have a couple of ways of looking at especially perimeter that maybe is a little bit different than you've done in the past because we want to get some practice using formulas. So there will be a couple of formulas in this unit, and I really want you to use those formulas when you're showing your work and stuff, even though you probably already know how to find area and perimeter of some shapes. Really concentrate on using these formulas because it's going to help in what we do later in solving some multi-step equations. So when we look at the perimeter, which is the distance around a geometric figure, that's a pretty fancy way of saying, you know, it's the sides of the shape. The distance around a geometric figure, we're going to find the perimeter of a rectangle, and this is the formula that we're going to use. The perimeter is 2L plus 2W. So perimeter equals 2, and a lot of times in the book or on worksheets or whatever, they use a cursive L, because if they make just a lowercase l, it looks like a 1. So a cursive L, 2L plus 2W. And all we have to do then is make substitutions, and substitutions are really simple, right? So we can do perimeter equals 2 times what? 12, because the length is 12. Oops, 2 times 12 plus 2 times 20. And then just follow the order of operations. So multiply first. Perimeter equals 2 times 12 is 24. Plus 2 times 20 is 40. And then perimeter equals 64, right? 64 what?
Inches.
Inches. Thank you. Do not forget labels. All right, pretty simple. But just that formula maybe is what you're not used to with finding the perimeter. So we'll come back to that formula in just a minute. To find the perimeter of a triangle, well, there's not really a formula for that. All you have to do is add up the length of each side. Okay, and so if we want to find the perimeter of this triangle, what do we do?
15 plus 18 plus 14.
15 plus 18 plus 14. And so that would be 33, 47.
Yep.
Everybody agree? So perimeter equals 47 centimeters. All right. Don't forget labels once again. Now let's talk about area. The area is the measure of the surface enclosed by a figure. So if you think about the perimeter, it's kind of like a fence around the border, but the area is the part that's inside that fence, right? So the area is enclosed by the perimeter. The area of a rectangle, real simple. You guys know this already probably. It's just length times width. So if we want to find the area of this rectangle, we just do area equals 7 times 18. So area equals
126.
126?
Yeah.
126
Inches.
inches squared. Okay, make sure when you put your label, one of the most common mistakes I see on doing labels for area is students write this. Area equals 126 squared inches. Okay, that is incorrect, and I will count it incorrect because if you do 126 squared, that would be 126 times 126, and that's a really big stinking number, and it's not the same thing as this. So don't put your labels in, don't label incorrectly, please. All right? So, area of a triangle. And the area of a triangle does have a formula. Area of a triangle is 1/2 the base times the height. So area equals 1/2 the length of the base times the height. Now the base and the height of a triangle have to do something special. Anybody have a thought on what they have to do special?
Divide.
No, they don't have to divide anything.
Because it says half of the base, which is 12.
Yeah, so we'll take half of the length of the base, but it doesn't necessarily doesn't necessarily match up with where the height meets it, although there is something special about that point. What do you notice about where the base and the height of this triangle intersect each other?
The intersection of the
In this case, it does intersect in the middle, but that won't always be the case, because we can have oddly shaped triangles. What type of angle is formed by the base and the height? It's right angle. Always, the base and the height of a triangle will always form a right angle. Okay, so this will always be what we look for to determine what the base and the height are. We don't need these other two lengths. They're irrelevant to what we're doing right now. If we want to find the perimeter, we need them, but we don't need them for the area. And so the area is 1/2 the length of the base, which is, the length of the base is 12. So we're gonna multiply it by 1/2, which will make it 6, correct? But we've got to fill it into the formula. And then times the height, which is 14.
So that's
Okay. So area equals 6 times 14, which would be 84. So the area is 84 centimeters squared. All right? Okay, now that you have gotten all of these formulas shown to you, we're going to go back and work through some of these. A room measures 14 feet by 20 feet. Find its area and perimeter. Let's start with area because it's easiest. Area of a rectangle is what?
Half the base times.
Length times width. We're talking rectangle, not triangle. So length times width. So we're going to do area equals 14 times 20, which is 280 feet squared. All right, that's the area. Now the perimeter area, or the formula for the perimeter of a rectangle is 2 times the length plus 2 times the width. So perimeter equals 2 times 14 plus 2 times 20. So that would be perimeter equals 28 plus 40, 68 feet. Okay? A right triangle. What does a right triangle look like?
That's the right angle.
It looks like.
It has a right angle. Forgive my drawing, I'm not a good artist. Okay, so if we pretend like this is a right angle, we'll call that a right triangle. A right triangle has legs. The legs of a right triangle form the right angle, so legs that measure 12 and 16. And a hypotenuse, well, if I've already labeled two sides, what must the other side be? The hypotenuse, which is 20. A hypotenuse of a right triangle is always across from the right angle. Okay? So find the area and the perimeter. So the perimeter is easy. All we have to do is add up the three sides. So perimeter is 12 plus 16 plus 20. So perimeter is 48 centimeters. All right, and the area is 1/2 the length of the base times what?
Times the height.
Height. And the base and the height form what?
The right angle.
A right angle.
So that'd be 8 equals
8.
6 1/2 times 16 times 12. That'd be 8 times 12.
And 12 equals 96 centimeters squared.
And then
How did you know to put 16 in for the base?
because it already a right angle. And
But what if it was how did you know that this one was the base and not this one?
other right angle.
Because it's on the bottom? What if I had drawn the triangle like this? And we had called this one 12 and this one 16 and this one 20.
Well, it's the same thing.
What's the same thing?
Where the right angle
Yeah,
It's the same right angle, but how do you know? I mean, you put
GD,
16 in for the base and 12 for the height.
D6 times
Well, if you have the same
It's
number.
the
both the same.
Yeah, no matter
It's
what.
the,
it's
explain that. Why is it the same both ways?
Because you can flip it
Because there's what?
Because you can flip it around.
Why can you flip it around?
Like the relative, like,
Not that one.
commutative.
Okay, yeah, say it.
Commutative.
Commutative property of multiplication. We can multiply numbers in any order we want. I don't care what order these numbers are in because I'm multiplying all three of them. So I could do 1/2 times 12 is 6, and 6 times 16 is, guess what? 96, okay? It's the same number. So it doesn't matter which one you label the base and the height because all we're doing is multiplying, okay? Wanted to make that point. Thank you for stumbling across that truth. All right, a rectangle has a perimeter of 54 inches. So we know a formula about perimeter of a rectangle. What is it? Perimeter equals 2 times
Length,
the length plus
2 times height.
2 times the width,
Oh, wait.
okay? So a rectangle has a perimeter of 54 inches. So perimeter equals 54.
Yeah.
The length of one side is 12 inches, so length equals 12. Find the area. What do I need to do to find the area? Area equals what? Length times width. So I need to know this number so I can find the area, right? What can I do to find that number?
54.
Yeah.
So perimeter is 54. I can substitute, right?
54.
54 equals 2 times what?
Times 12.
12. The length is 12, so I can substitute there.
Yeah, I got
Plus 2w. Now I've got an equation to solve, just like we did back in chapter 4. So 54 equals 24 plus 2w.
And you could just, so one step, you could
Subtract 24. So 30 equals 2w.
Divided by
Divide by 2, and 15 is the width. So width equals 15. So I can find area by doing 12 times 15.
110.
No. 12 times 12 is 144, plus 45 more. No, plus 36 more, sorry. 100 and, how much? 190. Area equals 190
That's always
inches squared. No, 180.
180.
180. 44 plus 30 would be 74, plus 6 more is 180. 180 inches squared. Sorry. Mental math. My mental broke. All right. Triangle has an area of 48 meters squared. So area equals 48 meters squared. And we also know that the area of a triangle is what? 1/2
Base.
base
Oh,
times
6.
height.
6.
If the base measures 16 meters, what is the height? So base is 16. We've got to solve for h. So area is 48 equals 1/2. What goes in for b? 16 times h. 48 equals 8 times h. Divide by 8. 48 divided by 8 is 6 equals h. So 6 meters. Height equals 6 meters. That's your answer. Okay. All right. Homework today will be a worksheet.